Now, 5 a.m. on WKYT this morning, Kentucky's Agriculture Commissioner making a couple of stops in the Commonwealth today to pass along some advice about avoiding credit card skimmers. That's Secretary of State John Kerry as he's heading out today to react to the Brexit situation in Europe.
Here in the States, we're just a week away from the 4th of July. We've got some safety tips ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you. Hope your Monday's off to a great start. I'm Rebecca Smith.
I'm Bill Bryant. It was a nice weekend if you like heat, because we certainly had that around, didn't we?
Yeah, Jim Caldwell's here filling in for Micah today to tell us more about it.
Yeah, guys, if you liked it, who likes that kind of heat, Bill? Oh, y'all do? All right, that's fun. That's fun. What we have out there this morning is still plenty of heat. Low and mid-70s still hanging out with us during the early morning hours. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We're still dealing with this. So very steamy start to the day, and it's going to stay that way for a better part of the day. But what will happen is we'll start tracking a few showers and maybe even some thunder showers as the day progresses here. There you see some of the rounds of rain working their way through the area. We'll probably max out in the upper 80s for daytime highs with some showers and storms around, and if you get caught under one of these, naturally going to cool you off briefly. But we've got a big-time cool down that's going to stick around as we head through the next few days here. I will track it and break it down, and all that good stuff coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Jim, thank you. We'll see you in a bit.
Well, Kentucky's Agriculture Commissioners make a couple stops today to pass along some advice while you're at the gas pump. Yeah,
there's something that could happen just while you're innocently making your purchase. Ryan Quarles, along with local officers, are demonstrating how you can avoid getting scammed. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Lexington with the details. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Bill. And police are seeing more and more of these tricky gas pump skimmers popping up. So that is why the state's Agriculture Commissioner and pump inspectors will be making a couple stops later today. They're going to be walking gas stations and customers through a couple steps that will help them know what they need to be looking out for. Here's what usually happens. Crooks open a panel on the gas station pump and place a device inside that copies credit card information. Some of the skimmers store data from as many as 500 credit cards. Since Lexington police have been seeing a spike in the number of concerning cases recently, authorities are meeting at the Minute Mart gas station off of I-75 and Ironworks Pike later this morning. They will walk through the steps that gas stations can take to check for skimmers. They will also talk about customers and how they can protect their own financial information. It starts at 10:30 this morning, but in case you cannot wait that long, here in just the next half hour on WKYT News, we'll start walking you through those steps that you can take to protect your information from getting scammed by a skimmer. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, thank you, Mark. In Jessamine County, friends and family are remembering 5 people who were killed in a crash 2 years ago. The Hibbard family's car crashed into a van in June of 2014. All 5 members of the family died in that wreck on US 27. Last night, friends and family held a vigil to remember those 5. They tell us the last 2 years have been difficult, and they wish they could talk to the Hibbards one more time. And so their family obviously still very upset and affected by this tragedy.
The Boyle County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly wreck. We understand 2 cars crashed on Godby Lane off Kentucky 52, and the coroner says 1 person died. Several others were injured in that accident. Deputies are still trying to figure out the cause of the crash. And international news this morning, Secretary of State John Kerry is heading to London and Brussels today for emergency talks with European leaders after Britain's stunning decision last week to leave the EU.
The talks come as financial markets around the world prepare for another uncertain day. Tina Krause has the latest from London.
Secretary of State John Kerry's European visit comes as British and EU leaders continue to weigh the impact of a messy divorce. Speaking in Rome, Secretary Kerry expressed support for both sides.
The most important thing is that all of us as leaders work together to provide as much continuity, as much stability, as much certainty as possible.
Exit negotiations are already proving complicated. British Prime Minister David Cameron, who announced he'd step down in the fall, is facing intense pressure to cut ties quickly. But former London Mayor Boris Johnson, who's in a bid to replace him, claims there's no need to rush, writing in the Daily Telegraph today that, quote, the negative consequences of the vote are being wildly overdone. Financial experts around the world remain concerned the Brexit could trigger a slowdown in the economy. Global stock markets suffered about $2 trillion in losses last week, and the British pound hit a 31-year low. World markets are bracing for another rocky day today.
You're going to have your heart in your mouth for a few days this week. I think you'll see the ups and downs, and the trend usually is upward over time.
Over the weekend, Scotland's leader promised she would do whatever it takes to stay in the EU.
I didn't create these situations. I've got to try to navigate the best way forward through them.
It's expected to take at least 2 years for Britain to officially break from the European Union. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Well, millions of UK residents may now have buyer's remorse. An online petition for a new Brexit vote has gotten more than 3.5 million participants.
Firefighters in California say a deadly wildfire may have claimed a third victim. Possible human remains were found in a home destroyed by the fire. The massive fire that started on Thursday is now just 40% contained. More than 1,700 firefighters are working the fire that has already devoured more than 40,000 acres of land, forcing massive evacuations. Officials say there is an elevated fire risk throughout the week. And a rally turned violent outside of California's capital. Police there say more than a half-dozen people left the rally with stab wounds. Investigators say members of a right-wing extremist group and counter-protesters clashed. The protesters say they were trying to stop members of the white supremacist group, the Traditionalist Worker Party, from rallying when people all of a sudden started throwing rocks. Officers say 7 people were injured. So far, no arrests have been made.
In Indiana, police rescued a baby who was left in a hot car. South Bend police say a driver pulled into a parking spot next to the car with the baby and noticed the infant was alone inside the hot car and was crying. That driver called for help and an officer was able to get into the locked vehicle. Thankfully, the infant was still alive, alert, and crying. The baby was taken to the hospital to be checked for heat-related conditions.
Got the baby out, went into Ross's, found the owner of the vehicle, who states that she just simply forgot that she had a baby in the car. And she admits that the baby was in the car at least 20 to 30 minutes.
Scary situation there. Police booked the woman into jail last night on a preliminary charge of child abuse and neglect following that incident.
As the waters recede in West Virginia, the devastation statewide is worse than officials first thought. In one of the flooded-out counties, at least 500 homes were damaged or destroyed. Some roads are still covered in water. Many more roadways have been damaged or completely washed out, and crews are out across the state clearing the debris. President Obama has declared some of the counties as federal disaster areas, freeing up federal money to help with recovery and rebuilding, and more rain anticipated in some of those areas today. Communities across the Mountaineer State are rallying together to help families suffering after the flooding. Here in Kentucky, softball teams collected donations for the victims. At Slammerfest, high schoolers from across the Commonwealth and West Virginia try to catch the eye of college scouts.
Well, the Lady Aces didn't have a complete team because of the severe flooding. Some girls couldn't make the trip or lost their houses, but their coach didn't go home empty-handed. Other teams donated towels, razors, shampoo, and some things for the ball field, too.
All right, so a lot of folks pitching in to help the situation. Just tough over there in West Virginia. Well, 1 week from today, millions of Americans will celebrate Independence Day with cookouts and flags and, of course, fireworks.
Yeah, you can't have 4th of July without those, right? But, of course, you have to keep safety in mind while you're out there having fun with that. Mike Byer is live in Lexington with some safety tips for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. The Lexington Fire Department is stressing the importance of fireworks safety with the 4th of July just 1 week from today. Now, Captain Chris Bartley says every year the fire department responds to some kind of firework-related incident, even though shooting them in the city is illegal. Kentucky laws also prohibit fireworks from being used within 200 feet of a structure. But if you're going to shoot off fireworks, the fire department recommends you follow these safety tips.
A wide open space, shoot them off there. Don't hold them in your hands, and have an extinguisher or a bucket of water or even sand available nearby just in case it does cause a fire.
He says the best way to stay safe is to simply catch a firework display show like the one that will fill up the sky of Commonwealth Stadium 1 week from tonight, or 1 week from today, I should say, starting at 9 o'clock. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, the best advice, I'll leave it to the professionals,
Well,
right?
and go figure, getting your nights and days mixed up, you know, when it's this dark outside.
Yeah, right now,
dark
that's
and
right.
early.
It kind of is tonight and today and this morning, and we're glad you're with us at 5:10 on WKYT on your Monday.
Well, starting July 1st, the nation's largest health insurer is cutting the number of options available for insulin pumps for diabetics. That story on WKYT this morning coming up.
And we're probably going to track a few showers and thunderstorms along with heat and humidity out there today. But some changes are coming, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. That cooler air coming up in just a few minutes.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
We're going to see a little of everything today. Mix of sun and clouds, heat and humidity, and showers and thunderstorms all coming at us through the day today. Right now, we're stuck with some of the muggy air and some pretty mild temperatures, especially for this part of the day. It's 72 in Lexington. You got more low and mid-70s hanging out across southern and into eastern Kentucky as well. Now, over the coming days, we could be very close to the 70s, especially the upper end of them for daytime highs. As a matter of fact, I have that in the 7-day forecast. Here's what we have with our Defender Radar Network. Things are pretty quiet, at least at the moment, but what we have is some energy, frontal boundary, trying to push through, and as it does, it'll ignite more showers and storms as the day kind of progresses. It's going to encounter a little more jump in moisture, and when that moisture feeds the front, that's when we'll start breaking out into better rain chances. And here's what that looks like on the surface map. Got a secondary front that will also sweep through as well, but the primary front, the one out ahead of it, still certainly hanging out around the area. Here's the way we'll play it with hour-by-hour forecast. You can see the front starting to sweep in, and notice what happens when you get into the afternoon and evening. What we have out there right now, just a few showers. They fill in as that front pushes deeper into Kentucky, so you get a better chance of organized showers and storms. So the front slowly works its way through the area as we go into Tuesday and into Wednesday. You'll get a reinforcing shot of the cool air. That secondary front I was talking about will also pass through as well, and that kind of pushes us to this. There you see our muggy conditions over the next few days here. Today, very tropical, very nasty feel to the air when you walk outside, in between the showers and the thunderstorms that will likely develop. Then you see where we end up Tuesday and into Wednesday. A significant drop in humidity, along with the temperatures as well. We'll be in the upper 70s, probably some low 80s out there in the coming days. And when you take the humidity down to this type of level, that means all kinds of fantastic things are starting to evolve out there for us as far as the overall comfort level in the atmosphere. Some good-looking days are certainly coming our way. And here's what we've got in our 7-day forecast. A few showers, thunderstorms possible out there today. I kept the mention alive, and by mention, a small chance, an extremely small chance of rain there on Tuesday. 84 your high, and 79 by Wednesday, and low 80s on Thursday before we start talking about more heat and humidity as we get officially into July there, guys. By Friday, that's the 1st. So showers, thunderstorms around again, more heat and humidity as well, as it should be. Right?
Yeah, but it's good when you can put a very nice or two on there through the week.
Which you don't get to do very often this time of year.
That's
Well,
right.
7 in there in July. Right?
Looks good. Jim, thank you. 5:16 now on WKYT.
Of course, when it's hot outside, all of us are trying to find a way to cool off.
Yeah, good idea, right? In California, dogs and their owners beat the heat by heading to the beach for surf lessons. The Helen Woodward Animal Center held surfing classes for dogs at where other than Dog Beach. The classes are taught by some local surf dogs. So, looks like they had a good time there, huh?
That looks like a lot of fun, actually.
Looks like people and the pooches had a good time.
The dogs would probably be better than I would on that.
Yeah, me too. Good to have you along Monday morning on WKYT as we're off and rolling with all the latest, and we're glad you're with us.
We got to look at your money. Stick around with us.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning, 5:20 right now. And investors are waiting to see how Brexit will impact Wall Street.
And the nation's largest health insurer is cutting options for diabetics. Karina Mitchell has the latest on your money.
Anxious investors are waiting to see what further impact Asian and European markets have on Wall Street in the wake of Britain's landmark vote to exit the European Union. Starting July 1st, the nation's largest health insurer is cutting the number of options available for insulin pumps for diabetics. Patients on many United Health Group plans will be restricted to only 3 choices instead of 9. The move comes in an attempt to cut costs and improve care. The change is angering some patients, however, who say choice is important. important. And a diamond engagement ring that Donald Trump gave to his second wife, Marla Maples, is set to be auctioned in New York City on Wednesday. The 7.45-carat Harry Winston emerald cut ring is estimated to fetch about $300,000. Maples previously auctioned the ring after she and the business mogul divorced back in 1999. At that time, it sold for $110,000. And that's your Money Watch. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Karina Mitchell.
Okay, and it's good to have you with us. And here we are at 5:21 now on your Monday morning. We have a lot more news to tell you about here as we're just getting underway.
Yeah, we are getting the engine started.
Getting going.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Sports is up next.
The Reds retire Pete Rose's number over the weekend. Hear from the all-time hits king next in sports.
We likely track a few showers, thunder showers out there for us on this Monday, but more importantly, heat and humidity will be with us again today. Highs, mid and upper 80s. Heat index values will go slightly above that. So just be prepared for another sticky day across central and into eastern Kentucky. Right now, we are sitting at 72 with a southwesterly wind here in Lexington. Let's look at the forecast breakdown, though, as we move through time here through the day. Showers and storms likely. I think we peak at around 88 degrees for a daytime high here in Lexington. Now, there could be a few locations that get maybe a degree or two warmer, but then we start to cool off, and that cooling trend will stick into the middle of the week. That's all I got for weather. Here's a check of sports.
The Reds have formally retired Pete Rose's number 14, capping a big weekend for baseball's hits king. Big crowds filled Great American Ballpark for the 3 days of celebration in Cincinnati, which had to be approved by Major League Baseball because of Rose's lifetime ban for betting on his team. Rose's number 14 is the 10th retired by baseball's first professional team.
I don't think any of us ever expected to be hanging up on that wall right there. I know I didn't. And I was born the closest to this place of any of the other guys up there. But it's always a pleasure to play in Cincinnati. I loved it here. I still love to come here. It's a beautiful ballpark. Enjoy the game, and thank you very much.
Now, prior to yesterday's Reds-Padres game, the Padres manager Andy Green spent time signing autographs for fans. Green is a Lexington native who played 4 seasons at UK from 1996 to 2000. He's in his first season as the Padres skipper, and he credits his former coach Keith Madison and UK for preparing him for where he is today.
My time at UK I'd never take away for anything. 4 years I spent there and the opportunity to graduate from a university I grew up loving definitely helped shape me and gave me kind of the firm foundation I needed to kind of launch into a professional baseball career, and still doing it today, and UK has a lot to do with that.
Final round from Congressional Country Club on Sunday. The 54-hole leader was Billy Hurley. He was trying to hold on for his first win on the tour, trying to get up and down here on 15. Instead, he just chips it in for birdie. Now I want you to take a look at the caddy on the right side of the screen right there. That's Clay Durison, a Berea native and Lexington resident. That birdie, by the way, right there got him to 2 shots clear of the field. 16th hole, Hurley sinks the 27-foot birdie, and he's out to 17 under par, and it's just his tournament at that point. Then on 18, he rolls in the short par putt. Hurley wins the Quicken Loans National, 3 shots better than Vijay Singh, and look at that, a hug for his caddy, Durison. Congratulations to both guys. That's Look to Morning Sports. Have a great Monday.